Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about Ray's trip to Nicaragua. You went all the way to Nicaragua. I mean, you had quite the adventure. I'm not jealous.
I have some.
So we're going to be talking about Ray's trip to Nicaragua. Unfortunately, I didn't go, which sucks for me, but Ray's quite happy about his trip. He's trying really hard not to yawn right now.
Yeah, we need to sell one of the cameras so I can fund my trip.
Oh yeah, we're sat
that's why we're here.
We're sat really close to each
If he was about to bring Guzman, we need to sell the other camera so we wouldn't be able to film. That's why we just take the short stick and the long stick, and I take the longer one, so I travel. We sell one of Guzman's camera.
We didn't, but we sat a lot closer to one another today. We thought, we'd show that we're both actually in the same room.
It's just an illusion.
Is it just an illusion?
There's nothing there. You see?
I'm touching it. So what cigar are you going to be sampling today?
I'm going to be smoking Joya de Nicaragua, which is a personal blend of a good friend of mine. We did those blends about 2.5 years ago. And I give him one of mine, he gave me one of yours, of his. I haven't smoked this one. Basically, this is very similar to the blend I have. The binder and the wrapper other way around, and the strength is medium. Mine is full.
Wait.
So I'm very curious on this one.
Wait. The binder and the wrapper are the other way around. What do you mean?
So on my blend, this is San Andres wrapper with the Nicaraguan Habano binder.
Right.
This one is Nicaraguan Habano binder with the Mexican San Andres wrapper.
So you're cut. So this.
And the fuel is exactly the same for both of us.
Have you smoked one of these before?
No.
Oh, it's your first time.
But I smoked some of mine. So also mine were full body. This is medium. So less ligero.
Oh damn! Look at the middle though. That
Yeah.
middle's packed nicely though.
Yeah.
In the middle, basically, it's like a whole bunch of ligero. You can see quite clearly, bang on in the middle. It's nicely well.
And this is medium as a strength.
That's medium.
Imagine what was mine.
I mean, that's a big chunk of ligero in there. That's how.
Mine was
No, show me that again. Show me that.
Mine
again.
was unsmokable, basically.
Show me what the. How is this medium? Nicely made cigar though.
Yeah.
Well packed,
Yeah,
heavy.
Robusto size 5x50. Again, this is 2.5 years old. Personal blend to a good friend of mine, Steve. And he also told me he's gonna smoke mine tonight. So we're gonna tomorrow we're gonna have a call and we're gonna discuss what was the.
Oh, he's smoking yours tonight as well.
Yes. So Usman didn't stop his phone on
I didn't.
mute.
Another. I tried to like play that off.
Next time we're gonna sell his phone as well, not only the camera.
I really tried to play that off, and you were like, "Nah, fuck it, I'm not letting you off that one." I'm smoking a Perdomo, 10th anniversary. In the United States, it's called the Champagne. Over here, it's called the Connecticut.
Yep.
They actually changed it on the band.
Yes. Well, they can't put the champagne on the band as well.
I just realized that.
Yeah.
Like Perdomo created a new band.
Yep.
Just for the UK market.
I think for the Europe.
Oh, for Europe.
Because champagne is a trademark in Europe, I believe.
Yeah.
If I'm not wrong.
This is one of the. When it comes to Perdomo, I tried the Maduro. I was not a fan of the Maduro though. Did not like that cigar one bit. But this one I thought was lovely. I really enjoyed this one. So, oh, it smells amazing. Like normally I don't put cigars to my face and do all of that crap, but this one, like the aroma just hit me. And you don't give a shit. You just want to get into your cigar.
Yeah, it smells like cigar, man. It smells like tobacco.
No, it doesn't, man. This one smells like barley.
It's a dry tobacco. Barley. No, it's not barley. It's probably grass barn or stuff like that. Or horse shit.
Oh, shit.
Every cigar smells like a horse shit. Until you lit it.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Yeah, kinda.
If someone starts...
Yeah, manure, right?
Yeah. What are you smelling, man? It's a horse shit.
Bullshit.
It's a horse shit.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you that.
And some people come in the shop sometimes. Oh, can I smell the cigar?
No, you
Again,
can't.
it's not gonna smell like caramel, toffee, popcorn, whatever, cinnamon. It will smell like manure or horse shits or whatever you want to call it, fertilization. So
I hate you when when people do all of that like tasting notes on like the smell. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Like, don't get me wrong, some cigars do actually smell like chocolate to me. No, some cigars do. Some cigars have.
I don't know. Okay, you can get the flavors on the draw, on a cold draw.
Cold draw, yeah.
Some flavors, but again, you're not gonna pick like some. I've read some reviews where they saying, "Oh, I'm picking mint. I'm picking raspberries." No. That's again, it's a side topic again, but it's
Ray, can we start again? I forgot to turn the fan off.
everything again.
Sorry, man.
Oh, man.
Because it's going to be too loud. Like, you can hear it. Do you know what I mean? Like, now it's silent. That's a big difference. Sorry, Ray. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're sat a bit closer. We're sat a bit closer because, according to Ray, I had to sell one of my cameras to fund his trip to Nicaragua. It's not true. It's not true.
We tried to sell both of them so Usman can come as well, but no one wants to buy the other one. It was too expensive, so that's why we stay here. That's why we stay here, and that's why we're still recording. If we will sell the second one, we will probably do it using our phones and do it with the phones, like what we're doing every Sunday.
That's not going to happen. I do have my other camera. Everything's fine. Just needed a little bit of a repair. But yeah, today we're going to be talking about Ray's trip to Nicaragua. Ray went all the way to Nicaragua. Like, this is like a dream come true for you, isn't it? Because you've been wanting to visit the factories, the actual manufacturers, the actual place where the cigars come from. I mean, I know you don't consider yourself to be someone who's been in the industry for like the last decade and a half or whatever. But for me, I'm going to say you have been. And the reason, and we might disagree on that, which is fine. But the reason why I'm going to say that you have been in the industry is because you've been soaking up so much knowledge. You've been learning so much about this industry, as much as anyone possibly can. The only thing that was missing was the actual face-to-face, in-person visit to these factories, and you've finally done it. You've finally been to Nicaragua. That must be like, I mean, what was that like? I mean, that must have been an incredible thing, right?
Yes, it's for someone. I mean, you explain it very, very humble. Someone who smoked properly for 5-6 years, that's what I consider myself for a proper smoking. Yeah, I've tried my first cigar more than a decade ago, but there was I was like every normal person coming to the lounge shop, get a cigar, came in and 2 weeks later get another cigar, maybe buy a box from abroad or anything like that, or from the shops, smoke that box for ages. And my proper geek stuff was, again, probably 2018, 2019, when I met a few people from the industry.
That's kind of about the same time as me then, 2018.
I mean, that I consider myself as a proper, where I started getting deeply into the knowledge. 17, 18, that was the period.
Well, that's when because 2017 is when I used to see you around some of the groups, and you used to be commenting on virtually everything, and lots of people, would be posting questions, and you were the person that was answering all of them. Like, anytime someone had a complicated question, Ray's there, providing a really good answer. And that's where I saw you, and that's how we first started talking, right? We started talking about cigars and stuff on Facebook. Then we met Knutsford. Knutsford is the first time that we met. There was an event there to launch a LCDH cigar store there, which is a lovely cigar store, by the way. That was the first time we met, and since then we've just been getting to know each other. But you've gone on to like learn such a ridiculous amount, both when it comes to Cuban cigars and New World cigars. Cuban cigars, I'm going to say you have a better knowledge when it comes to vintage.
Yes. Vintage
Cubans and, really old school kind of rare stuff, and rare and interesting things that you normally get in auctions.
Because that's how I get into the premium cigars and as an interest, vintage stuff. you know, with the auctions and vintage stuff, every time I get that something, I want to research about it. I need to know about it, read about the brands, remember the story, remember the history, how to recognize specific brands, Vitoas, everything. Not only Cubans, even European cigars, Spanish cigar, Italian cigars, everything what was produced back in the time. And yeah, that's why my knowledge on the vintage is way more, especially in the Cubans. Okay, now I'm learning way more into the new stuff, especially I'm working in the industry. I need to know the new cigars coming out of Cuba.
You obviously know about the new stuff, but your specialty is more about vintage stuff, and that's because you've been paying more attention to that, because if you're buying stuff on auctions, you need to know what you're buying. So it's more of a practical knowledge for you based on what you're actually doing. But then you also have like an incredible perspective and knowledge base when it comes to New World cigars. And New World cigars is, correct me if I'm wrong, but would you say that you love New World cigars more than Cuban cigars?
I smoke more New World cigars than Cubans. There's a brands which I like more than the others.
Yeah.
And Cuban cigars, I mean, in my opinion, to smoke a really good Cubans, you need to be a little bit lucky. And maybe pick something with a little bit of aged, certain brands. With the New World, I smoke way more successfully beautiful, nice cigars than not nice. That's my opinion. Even if with the weirdest situation that I smoke literally different cigars every day, trying new blends, new stuff. Some of them are awful, some of them are nice. That's the interesting, because that's my passion in the smoke. I want to smoke different cigars. I want to try different. I want to try everything. And in Cuba, I've tried most of them.
You have?
I mean, smoking one, twice, 3 times, maybe I have like 5 of them or something. And
you've tried most things except for the latest Bolivars.
Yeah, I mean, I've tried most of them. Okay, not everything, of course.
No, of course,
it's a stuff I haven't tried. But if I want to try all the Cubans I haven't smoked, it will take me 2 months and I'll try all of them.
Probably.
And then I'm not going to want to touch Cuban for next 2 years.
So is that why you're kind of holding on?
That's why I holding on the Cubans. Don't smoke that much Cubans. From time to time smoke. Obviously, I need to keep my palate intact with the whatever Cubans producing and everything.
Yes, of course.
But it's a way more other selection, way more other cigars which I want to try and enjoy, which are not made in Cuba. That's why I don't. For me, there's no better Cuban or non-Cuban. They're both nice cigars. They both need to exist. We're gonna need to listen to the bell, guys. So it will stop in a minute.
Vintage bells.
I was saying I don't like to say which one are better, the Cuba or the non-Cuba or the New World, whatever you call them. They both have their positives, negatives. But they both have their charm.
But you have your preferences, don't you? And generally speaking, you prefer to smoke new things or more interesting things or things. No, so it's not even about whether it's Cuban or Nicaraguan. In my from the years that I've known you, as much as you poke fun occasionally on one side or this and that, what I've learned is you don't really give a crap about where the cigar's from. You just want to know.
You know, let's give you an example. Let's say I'm coming to your. Let's say you throw in a party, you're doing something. I'm coming to your party, and you show me 5 cigars as a selection. Let's pick 5 cigars.
Yeah.
Monte Cristo No. 2, Romeo Short Churchill, Perdomo, Plasencia Alma Fuerte, and Gurkha. Do you know which one I'm going to pick?
Probably the one that you haven't smoked.
Yes.
Gurkha.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even if I love Monte Cristo, I love that. I literally mentioned my favorite Cuban cigars.
Yeah.
And if the Gurkha is the one I haven't smoked, I will pick this one. Maybe I'll get another one after that. You know, Monte Cristo, something where I can enjoy.
But you want to smoke.
I always gonna pick in. Sometimes when I'm on the events, even when I was in Nicaragua on the factory tours, the people show us a selection of cigars, and I always pick the one which I haven't smoked. If there's some of them, because not in every factory there was a cigar which I haven't smoked, but in some of them they show us cigars. It's not the most expensive. I don't care about the money. I don't care about the how premium, how expensive, how rare. If I haven't smoked it, I want to try it. That's the main thing to choose on the cigars. And even when I'm buying cigars now, I have cigars which I like. Some of them are outstanding cigars. I rarely buy some of them. I like have like 5 of them in my humidor.
Yeah.
And that's it. I don't buy like 5 boxes or I'm gonna buy. That's my favorite cigar at the moment. I'm gonna buy 5 boxes. No, even if the cigar is 100 score, let's say the best cigar in the world, I'll buy 3 or 4. just to have them in case I want to try them again. And I'm gonna spend my money to something which is I haven't smoked. I've seen it. Someone promoted, someone released it just because I want to try it. That's me. That's my way of smoking. I know maybe a lot of people wouldn't understand it, but
No, I get it. I get it. But this is the thing that I wanted to clarify. Really, you don't really care about where it's from. You just want to smoke different things. You want to keep things fresh. You want to keep things interesting. Speaking of keeping things interesting,
and that's how I learn. You say you have a big knowledge on the stuff. Every time I smoke a cigar, if it's new, I try to read everything what I have for that company. Company history, who's behind it, what's the blend and everything. Okay, not that depth in the blend, what kind of leaves, but basically everything about the company. And if I found it interesting, fascinating, maybe I'll try to find another cigar from that company or research a little bit. And that's how I know everything about the vintage stuff so far.
Makes sense.
Researching, trying new stuff.
Speaking of new cigars, you are smoking a new cigar today. Do you want to talk about this cigar for a second? Because this is when as soon as I saw the band, I was like, wait, what the fuck? So explain the cigar.
This is a cigar which never been for sale, never will be for sale. As far as I know, there's only 10 ever made cigars from this one.
Wow.
It's a personal blend of a good friend of mine, Steve Davis. This is his personal blend with Hoya. About 2.5 years ago, we both been involved in a blending masterclass with Hoya de Nicaragua. We all produce our blends with them, and they give us 10 cigars from our blends. So me and him exchange a cigar each, and this is his cigar. 2.5 years later, his blend. I believe he's smoking my blend at the moment as well. So
because he messaged
we
you,
message together. We're gonna have a good chat tomorrow, probably to discuss how is the cigar between two blends. So basically, we both don't know in that we pick almost identical blends.
What's the difference between your blend and this blend?
So this one, the one I'm smoking at the moment, Steve's blend, it's Nicaraguan Habano wrapper with the San Andres binder and fewers from Esteli, Ligero, fewers from Jalapa, Ligero from Esteli. Mine is exactly the same fewers in Ligero, but the binder, in my case, is this wrapper here. So Habano, Nicaraguan Habano, and the wrapper is this binder here, so the Mexican San Andres. So it's up other way around.
So basically the binder and the wrapper are flipped.
Yes, and the strength of mine is full, but this is medium.
But I saw the Ligero in the
Yes,
middle
but
of the
again,
cigar.
it's not
Mate, that was a lot of Ligero in the middle of that cigar.
a lot of Ligero, but sometimes the Ligero is a different priming as well.
True.
And can be not that strong. Maybe the content, the amount will be slightly less or slightly more.
So you've got into like a, what'd you say, an inch into that cigar. What do you think of it so far?
It's not, I expect to be more sweet. I'm missing sweetness on the cigar, but because my cigar was way more sweeter. Strength-wise, it is medium plus. It's not that medium.
So it's not medium. It's like it's a little bit on the strong end.
It's going to the strong end. Yes, okay. It's the body strength is medium. Body is almost full. I mean, you can feel that meatiness, that heaviness in your throat over there. So body is quite a lot. It's very saliva cigar. You know what I call them, where you literally keep salivating when you're smoking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just
yeah.
I don't need the water with this cigar. It's just my mouth is not
like
some
dry. Cigars can give you that dry kind of feeling, but this one doesn't.
No.
Okay.
It's
I had that yesterday. I was smoking the Davidoff Lancero. Dominican tobacco generally tends to be gives that dry flavor. It's quite dry. That was a very dry cigar, but I enjoyed it. But let's go back to the subject, because this cigar you produced with Hoya de Nicaragua as well, not this one, but you had like several cigars produced by Hoya de Nicaragua. But you actually visited the Hoya de Nicaragua factory, didn't you?
Yes.
So Hoya de Nicaragua factory, not the biggest factory you visited in Nicaragua, but it was one of your favorites.
Yes, I visited 5 factories: Hoya de Nicaragua, Padron, Perdomo, AJ Fernandez, and Oliva. Hoya was probably on the bottom one as a capacity, amount of people.
Smallish factories?
Mid-level. Let's call it mid-level. It's not one of the giants. It's not one of the biggest one. It's more on the mid-level. Factory with a great history, basically. It's they're the holder of the title of the oldest Nicaraguan brand at the moment.
Yeah.
because they start in 1968 and they still produce cigars to our days. None of the other Nicaraguan brands start that back in the time.
No.
And
I mean, they've got history.
They call them the university of the cigars. Basically, most of the good rollers in the other company, I mean, not rollers, maybe the supervisors, the people who are in higher positions in rollers and blenders and everything, they start from Hoya.
So
They train most of the supervisors and everything on the other companies.
So let me get this straight. Most of the senior people in all the other Nicaraguan factories, they all learned
They've been
in
rollers,
Nicaragua.
yes. They start as a rollers in Hoya. Okay, there's a lot of big percentage of people who actually rollers in the other factory. They came from Hoya, but basically Hoya have the ability to train right the people, young people, youngsters people, which are just like 17, 18 years old, go into the cigar industry, start as a binder, rolling bunchers, whatever the role in the factory. And most of those people who are still in the world of tobacco in some way or another, they start from Hoya.
Oh, really?
I mean, Nicaraguan people.
Wow.
They start from Hoya. That's why they call them the university.
That's
Basically, you go there to start.
what you learn.
After that, you find the opportunity to move to other company or something like that. You move to other company.
That's pretty cool. Did you make any of your own blends again in Hoya de Nicaragua? I saw you rolling some cigars.
Yes.
I saw some of your posts.
I didn't roll in Hoya. I roll in Oliva. But in Hoya, we have the opportunity to make another blend again. The same situation as this one. But the difference, this one was done online. So we literally have some of us have a knowledge on the cigars, but we didn't taste tobacco before, like
Or you didn't do
single
puritos
puritos
and stuff like that.
we just, okay, I know what that might taste. I smoke cigars with that leaf. It was a little bit like novice thing, but it was the closest you can get to blending a cigar during the COVID situation. This time in Hoya, we have 12 different leaves where we can pick and make our own combination. We have a roller there who rolls the little puritus if you want to smoke different leaves and compare just a single leaf, like a very small puritus. It was very unique thing, you know what I mean? That's what I call.
So you actually tasted. So you got. Let me get this right. You actually got the individual leaves, rolled them up into puritos, smoked them to know what the individual leaves are going to taste like, and then you selected what you wanted in your blend.
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
That's what I call actual blending.
That's the actual blending, yeah. So you actual blended.
For a lot of people say, "Oh, I'm gonna want to make a line of cigars or something." They just throw money to a company. They produce them 5, 6 ready blends, 10 ready blends with the components they want, and they say, "Oh, we pick number 1, number 2, whatever," and we release it. No, the actual blending is you need to try the cigars, you need to understand the leaves, and this is a very basic. I mean, we have 12 leaves. I think the combinations you can do are more than 1,000 different combinations, because there's a different primings, there's different regions of the leaves, there's different seeds, there's a different aging on them. You can play, I don't know, that is whole new game. I mean,
there's an infinite number of blends that you could possibly
absolutely.
create. There's just no way that you're going to run out with.
Imagine if you're using one type of origin, let's see, one origin of leaf. Let's say we're going to use Nicaraguan grown Habano.
Yeah.
So you got wrapper, you got binder.
Yeah.
Then you move into the complicated part where you need to choose the filler. For the filler, you need a Seco, 2 Visus, and Ligero. Those 4 leaves, they can be different, little bit of different priming, because some of them have a few different primings. Maybe a little bit of age on that might change the stuff, because every year is like the wine. Every year is a different weather, different climate. So you go different.
So you're gonna have different
taste, flavors.
Yes.
Fermentation. It's a huge process where something can go a little bit wrong, maybe not well fermented, maybe something else. You know, the fermentation is, you need a lot of experience to do it right.
Definitely.
And all those stuff, even if you, again, this is only single leaf, you can probably have, I don't know, strength-wise. You want stronger cigars, you put more Ligero. So you reduce some of the Viso, you put more Ligero. You don't want strength, get rid of the Viso, get rid of the Ligero, put some Viso. And again, this is a single origin, let's say Nicaraguan Habano, grown in Esteli. Because if you grow in Jalapa, it's completely different.
So the amount of combinations you can have with just one kind of tobacco, that's incredible, though. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
and again, if you
But
start
they've got like,
adding,
so many options.
if you
available.
add in same origin, grown in different parts.
Yeah.
You have like Nicaraguan Habano grown in Jalapa, and Esteli, Ometepe. All of them taste differently.
Yes, they do.
And then you can get a Habano grown in Dominican Republic.
Yep.
Same stuff, all the regions. Habano grown in Honduras, few different regions. Habano grown in whatever they grow Habano.
Yep.
And this is only one variety.
Yeah.
If you add another thing, let's say Indonesian Sumatra, or Connecticut, or Mexican San Andres, or Criollo, or Loro,
Or broadleaf, which is your
Cameroon.
favorite.
yeah, Connecticut broadleaf. It's ridiculous. The combinations you can play around, it's endless. I mean,
It is endless. And this is why there are so many incredible blends out there that I guess this kind of goes back to explaining why you want to smoke new things, because there's so many potentials, so many different ways you can make cigars, so many different blends you could create, and you want to smoke them all. It's like Pokemon for you, right? Smoke them all.
yeah, basically, yeah. It's blending is very complicated. I mean, I have an opportunity to touch a blending for a little bit. Obviously, that's a thing I'm gonna explore more and more in the future. But I've seen the idea. I get the idea of it. Obviously, to become a master blend, this is ridiculous. You know, some people in those factory, they can taste the leaf and they know what is it.
They know straight away.
We've done similar experience with AJ Fernandez on
Go
the
on.
dinner. On the dinner, they present us again different leaves, so you can smoke on a puritos, or you can roll them 2 together, 3 together. We did the same on AJ Fernandez dinner.
So you had puritos, but you didn't just have individual puritos. You could put them together.
Yes, you can actually mix 2 leaves.
Okay.
And put them together.
What was that
and
like?
they have I didn't mix any 2 leaves because I didn't. That was not what I'm looking for. But they have, for example, some rare tobaccos like Ometepe, which no one else in the other factories give us a chance to see Ometepe. It's a very small production tobacco. So I smoke an Ometepe Ligero, Viso, and Seco as a 3 individual puritos.
What do you think of them?
It was interesting. I mean, it's nice and sweet tobacco. You get it. The ligero is not burning. You know what I mean? You can't smoke the ligero. You need to keep the lighter and start puffing because you remove the lighter, it's not burning. It's that thick. I mean, it's very heavy leaf.
Damn.
It's unique experience. I mean, if anyone going to have the opportunity to go to any of the cigar producing countries, I'm pretty sure any of those countries, Honduras, Nicaragua, Dominican Republic, will be nice to go. Just go and try something like that if you have the opportunity. It's unique. If you wanna learn more depth in the details, you know, because not everyone is interested in that stuff. Obviously.
No, because reading about it is one thing, but actually being there and smoking the puritos, actually seeing the blending process, actually seeing how they roll things, actually, you know, seeing the fermenting process, that is just a complete different kettle of fish. By the way, I haven't even mentioned what I'm smoking. I'm smoking the Perdomo Connecticut. Well, it's called the Connecticut here in the UK and Europe, but in America or in the States, it's called the Champagne. We're not allowed
Champagne
to call
Reserve, yes.
it. We're not allowed to call it the Champagne, are we?
No, there's a trademark on the name, I believe, Champagne. That's why you can't call it Champagne unless it's something produced in France.
Really?
Well, Champagne is a
Yeah,
region in France.
How did they get
So-
away with it in the States then? They don't have the trademark there.
Well, I don't think the trademark is. States is different. You know how you have like Romeo and Julieta made in Dominican Republic.
True.
Or how you have like Monte Cristo made in Honduras or whatever.
How they have Cohiba and Habanos.
How you have Cohiba, yeah. So I guess the trademarks are not exactly the same. Depend Europe and States. I'm not, again, this is not a territory I'm very familiar, so I
But
can
let's go
just
back
speculate.
to Perdomo. Perdomo is one of the factories you visited,
Yes,
and you met Nick Perdomo himself.
yes. I met Nick for second time in my life. We spent the whole day with him, literally 12, 13 hours with him on the fields, then in the factory, and then on a dinner after that. It's a fascinating person. I mean, the guy is leading an empire. I don't know if the people realize how big is Perdomo. It is big. It is. I will put Perdomo as in top 5, if not in top 3, as family-owned companies in cigar world.
Really?
Yes.
What was his factory like? In terms of size and
Factory was huge. Factory have different facilities. It's basically one of the first factory made in and they're still existing. He have even in the factory. He have a small factory making his own boxes, even the boxes for the cigars
Everything.
inside the
Printing
factory.
and everything.
Yeah, printing, labeling, bands, everything. Well, those bands are not made in a factory,
Okay.
but they're one of the very few stuff are not made in a factory. But he have
Everything else is made in-house.
everything is in there. I've seen how the whole process. Even the cigars which are barrel aged, that's not everything. Everyone will show you. Some of those companies keep a secret or anything. But Nick showed us the process of barrel aging, where they keep the tobacco for 2 years in a barrels, bourbon barrels, for extra 2 years, and it's not. They don't taste like an alcohol. You know, that's I'll tell you that it's not. They don't taste like alcohol. Give you just an extra fermentation, extra sweetness.
Yeah.
The more fermenting, the more sweeter you can get it.
Yeah.
And it's the guy invent a lot of stuff. Basically, all in his factory is full of his inventions. Also, he pay a lot of money to foreign company to develop sprinkles, to develop a humidification system. Even in the package area, he built a fridge. The fridge he froze the cigar like every company, every good company, deep freeze the cigars before they send them to Europe, States, or whatever. The size of the fridge is exactly the same as a shipping container. So basically, you put the boxes in the same way you put them in the shipping container.
Damn.
There's no space. It's not like just a fridge.
Yeah.
You move boxes. You have the same size as a shipping container.
Wow.
So basically, whatever you can fit in this one, need to fit in the same shipping container after that.
So they know exactly what's going to fit where and everything. That's smart. That's smartly done. So they know exactly what capacity is going where.
All his packaging is made to fit in a certain ways in the shipping containers. All the boxes a specific way. You know, his boxes are quite chunky.
Yeah.
But there's a reason for that. He don't do like 10 counts or stuff. He do some samplers, but they ship differently. But all these boxes are same idea, same stuff. You stack them. Let's say if you buy a Robustus, you need to buy a certain number of Taurus so you can fit them in the shipping container to get them full.
Also, it's based on logistics. So that's why he has like
Well,
he has minimum orders, isn't he?
yes, I don't know about minimum order, but if you're in the States, if you're a retailer in the States, if you wanna get the good prices, not deal with the third parties and anything. If you wanna get direct from Perdomo, you need to carry I think 12 lines or 18 lines minimum.
Right.
I mean individual SKUs to be able to get the good prices and buy direct from the company instead of
Going through, like, a
distributors
third
or
party
third parties or salesperson or brokers or something, and which is a lot. I mean, a lot of shows don't have that kind of space. I mean, they're all kind of different brands, but if you want to carry a good price Perdomo and sell it cheaper than the others, you need to buy a lot.
Yeah.
So that's again, Nick Perdomo is a good businessman. Probably wouldn't be able to do that empire without being a businessman, to be honest. But it's a very good businessman. He's very proud of what he's done.
Yeah.
He's always put himself, yes, I did that, not the other guys. He talk a little bit nonsense for the other companies, but I get it. I mean, if you're on that level, maybe you have your
Maybe you can if you
ego.
if you're on that level, maybe you can talk about that kind of stuff because you've done it, right? He, like you said, he's got a freaking empire. One of the biggest factories. His farms are huge. His factories are huge. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't realize how big his stuff was. I didn't realize how that came out wrong. That came out so wrong. I didn't realize how big his factory and his presence was.
I was the same. I was thinking, okay, it's a brand because it's quite a new brand for us in Europe. Okay, I've smoked Perdomo before, but just I've tried as usual. I've tried everything they produce.
Yeah.
1 or 2 cigars. I never buy a box or anything, and I didn't realize how big is it. And when I actually go to the factory, and there's another thing in the factory which make a very good impression. When we enter the factory, every roller start clapping with his chaveta on the table, like applause. There's no other everyone in the other factory just looking at us and probably thinking, what those guys doing again? We're like museum, blah blah. And this factory people welcome us, and we just start clapping back. You're sitting in the front line, you see 400 people rolling cigars. All of them seeing you, start clapping and make noise on the table.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
It was super cool. I mean, I didn't film this one. I think someone filmed it and the other guys who've been on the trip, but it was.
Were you allowed to film in the Perdomo factory?
Yes.
You were. Okay.
Yeah, you can film anything you want in the film. I've done few lives from Perdomo factory. I'm still about to post some other stuff from Perdomo next few days. I film Arestes. Arestes is the oldest worker in Perdomo factory.
I saw that. Yeah.
He's a 94 years old guy, ex-Cuban, born in Cuba, immigrated from Cuba 25, 30 years ago with the help of Nick Perdomo's father, because this guy was retired and still can't afford to, money for food or anything. And it was well-known person in the Cuban industry. He was head of fermentation for the whole Habanos.
Really?
And then become president of Habanos.
Wow.
I mean, top tier director.
Yeah.
But he retired on 60 and nothing he can do, and slightly before 60 or something. And then Nick Perdomo father sent him telegram. They pay him.
They sent him a telegram.
Well, there's no phones back in the time.
They sent him a telegram.
And he say it cost him $8,000 to ship him to the States, because the flights from Cuba make them impossible to people to leave. The price on the flight was like $8,000 or something.
Wow.
And Nick's father paid everything. That guy who came in this factory, and since then he's like institution there. Everyone respect him. He rolls the cigars. We smoke, basically this was the blend he rolled in a slim Toro. So it's a size which not exists. Their Toro is 54 ring gauge.
Yeah.
The cigar we smoked was about 50 ring gauge with a pigtail.
Oh, really?
The guy rolled it on the place. Yeah. It's on the video I've showed it. The guy rolled it there. He gave a cigar to all of us.
In the video, you couldn't tell what the Vitola was.
Yeah. You couldn't tell, but they give a cigar to all of us, and we smoked them there because everyone was thinking to keep that cigar. But the guy say he will be offended if we not smoke them. And we want to make it happy. I smoked mine. I lit mine. I was the first one lit mine. I know. Give a hug to the guy. We have a pictures together. And again, this is a real legend. And you can see the guy. He started smoking on 14. That's 8 years of smoking. He smoked between 15 and 20 cigars a day.
The guy is killing it.
15 and 20 cigars a day. His size was like Bellicoso. That was his size. What he smoked.
Bellicoso.
It was short pyramid. Short pyramid torpedo stuff, more close like Bellicoso. I don't know what blend of his stuff, but basically whatever he liked, he rolled his stuff and smoked them. But the size he preferred was like a Bellicoso.
But you were telling me about how he's just got carte blanche, like he could just walk around and do whatever he wants. Like he doesn't have any he doesn't need to say where he's going or anything like that. What was his what does he do there? What does he actually do on a daily basis?
I guess he's just like an advisor. I mean, you got 60, 70 years of experience.
Huge.
You're head of fermentation. So he was always on, because we met him next to the fermentation rooms. So I believe he's in charge with overlook the fermentation. If someone not sure what to do, the guy just go there and can tell. Basically, with that experience, he can just see the tobacco and say it's fermented. You don't need to touch it. You don't need to smell it. You don't need to do anything. Just see it and
he knows.
He knows. So that kind of guy everyone wants in the company. You will be happily paying extra salary just to have him around, and if something happen, because problems happen often.
You just need like a steady set.
It's a live product. Yeah, you need to. The guy is not rolling cigars. Don't get me wrong. He rolls a cigar because he's Cuban. He can do that stuff, but he's not a roller. He's a way more than that. And the opportunity that kind of person to roll a cigar, this is good. This is big.
That's a huge thing. What was his cigar like?
Cigar was nice. I mean, it was a little bit stronger, but because that's an interesting cigar we can talk about a little bit.
Go on.
This cigar is more stronger than the Maduro.
I've heard.
Yes.
It doesn't feel stronger.
It's stronger than the Maduro.
I've smoked the
Maduro. Same line, the Maduro, the 10th anniversary. They also do sun grown. This is the strongest from all three.
See, I smoked the Maduro.
Because it's way more stronger tobacco inside than the Maduro.
It doesn't feel it. So I smoked the Maduro. Not a fan. I didn't like that at all. I'm going to be honest with you. But then I smoked the Connecticut or the Champagne. And I thought this was great. Like, this is a lovely cigar in comparison to the Maduro. The Maduro didn't vibe with me, but I get it. Some people like Maduro, some people like Connecticut. It's that kind of, back and forth between people.
I'm a big fan of the sun-grown blends they produce. And soon, we're going to have in England the 20th anniversary. All the three variations. Connecticut, Maduro, and sun-grown. So the sun-grown is the most interesting one. I spoke with the importer of the country, the guy who organized the trip basically, and he said they will try to bring the 12th anniversary barrel aged, which is my favorite Perdomo cigar. It's very low production on that one, so they're not sure if they're gonna be able to manage to get some boxes, but they will try. And yeah, also I have managed to get Nick Lancero to make Nick Perdomo to make me 2 Lanceros.
Tell us that story. I was gonna jump into that one. Go on.
Yeah. So
tell us.
First time I met.
Tell the story from the beginning when you met him here. Because we had a conversation.
First time I met Nick Perdomo was in England last summer, and I always joking with him, you know, because I'm a huge fan of Lancero. A lot of people know me. I'm a fan of Lancero lover, and Perdomo don't have a Lancero. And one of my first questions when I see him was, Nick, where are the Lanceros? Why don't make Lanceros? And he was like, well, they don't sell. There's not a market for them, and it would take me way more time to make Lanceros, which wouldn't sell. So it's harder to produce Lanceros. And say, well, it's a shame, you know, the Lanceros still have a market, especially my customers, people who are in my shop, they love Lanceros.
Yes.
They say, if you that much want Lanceros, if you come to the factory, I'm going to make you Lanceros.
So when you went to the factory?
And I came to the factory, literally on the field, I didn't ask anything. First time I go to the factory, literally afternoon, and one of my first questions was, Nick, where are the Lanceros? Because we're looking people rolling stuff. Actually, they do Petite Coronas, 4x38.
Oh.
I don't know where they're selling those. Is it a private client or something? I saw them. It's a 4x38, so it's a half Lancero.
That's a good size.
Yes, but there's no Lancero, actual size Lanceros. And I asked him, and he just smiled at me and say, "I knew you were gonna ask me, but yeah, okay, I told you I'm gonna make you some."
No. That's not what he said. When you asked him, what was the first thing? What was the first thing he said as soon as you asked him? Quote him.
He asked me, why do I want to smoke ladies' cigars? Cigars are ladies. My wife used to smoke them. That's what he said. So, yeah, he say, in this factory, I make about 50 Lanceros a year, and they're all for my wife. But fortunately, there wasn't any producer at the moment. And what he do? He asked a lady. I forgot her name, unfortunately. I need to remember what was her name. But
was she like 84 years old or something?
She's 81.
81.
She used to be level 7 roller in Cuba. That's the maximum level. And again, she emigrated from Cuba, come to work for Nick. She spent 20 odd years with Nick. She was head of his factory, basically. The rolling process, the rolling floor.
And she's the only person that can roll?
She was the head there. She retired a few years ago. And 2 weeks later, after she retired, she called him and said, I can't stay at home, I need to come back. And she's the same like Aristis. She's the institution there. They have a picture of her. Everyone is around. She's a little lady, 8 years old, still rolling perfectly. And he said that she's the only person who can roll Lanceros in this factory.
Wow.
And he had to get like a and
historical...
she wasn't happy, you know. She was like something on Spanish, blah, 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 blah. And you can see by the face she wasn't very happy that Nick wants her to roll some Lanceros. And apparently she rolled a couple Lanceros, but Nick wants to give them on the same day. She said, no, they need to rest. So on the next morning, we go past the factory and we collect the Lanceros. There's 2 Lanceros. I'm going to post a picture when I post the Perdomo day in my social media. Beautiful Lanceros. This is the blend with them. This is the band, so Connecticut Lanceros. I'm going to smoke probably one of them in some point. The other one, I don't know. I want to smoke it, but it's something which you can't see, you can't find. It's very special for me. Yeah. It's rolled by a very special person. Again, I'm going to smoke probably only one of them. I always say all the cigars are for smoking. If I have only one, I'll probably smoke it. I have 2, so I'm going to smoke one of them. The other one, I don't know. We'll keep it. Maybe I'll smoke it again. Maybe I'll go to the factory and smoke it there. I don't know what I'm going to do with the second one.
So Nick is a bit of a legend in the industry now. I mean, the guy has done a lot.
20 plus years.
20 plus years. That's incredible. I mean, he's achieved a lot. He's got...
Start with his garage.
You
see, he tells a story of his first order of tobacco, bale of tobacco. The courier bring it in his garage. And he was like jumping everywhere, telling his wife, we've got the tobacco, imagine a like 50 pounds of tobacco.
Yeah.
And even the courier asked him, what is that? He said, tobacco. What are you doing with that? And he was like, we're gonna roll cigars. And the guy laughing or something like that. I mean, it's...
Wow, he started in his garage.
Yeah, and then he hired 2 rollers, retired guys, just an extra job in the garage. Then the rollers bring the granddaughters, grandsons in his garage again. So they start in his garage. I mean, 20 odd years ago in Miami.
Wow. And now he's got a huge factory
Yeah,
in
but
Nicaragua.
he have factory. He have like 12 farms, I think. 10, 12 farms in different regions of Nicaragua. He's probably the one which was talked up most from all the factory.
So he gave a lot of
We go
insights.
to one of the warehouses. He say he have like 3 or 4 warehouses. The warehouse was full. It was packed. And we ask roughly what tobacco is in there. He say he have enough tobacco to produce his own current lines with the same capacity at the moment for the next 7 years.
If he doesn't grow anything
If he
at all,
didn't pick any other leaf, single leaf of tobacco, enough for 7 years.
for the same capacity, same kind of
Yeah,
amount.
30 odd million cigars a year. He say
Wow.
they try to grow a little bit by little bit every year. So 30 plus million cigars a year. He have tobacco for more. If you calculate them, that's a 210 million cigars to produce 220, 30 million cigars
Wow.
right now. And again, it's a businessman guy. He know how to do his stuff. He don't buy a lot of tobacco. He produce a lot. I don't think he sell any. That's one of his stuff. He don't sell tobacco.
How
The
come he
farms-
doesn't sell? I mean, he's got so much tobacco. Surely that's a way to make more money.
Well, if you can make more cigars and actually selling more cigars, you don't need to sell your tobacco.
You can make more money on selling
You
the
can
cigars.
make more
yeah.
money selling cigars. You get more people, so you hire more people. You grow up your factories. You grow your farms. The farm we visit was called Finca Natali. Natalie is his daughter. So all the farms are named after girls, and the farm is beautiful. I mean, you say in the farm we visit, it's not the biggest. You can put 360 Man United Stadium in there.
Wow.
Imagine the capacity.
That's huge.
It's huge.
That's
It's
huge.
We've been there. I mean, it's huge. Imagine what fuel,
huge.
and that's not the biggest factory. And this factory, he used technologies to divide the factory on a square, like 20 on 20 squares feet. So every square have a sensor. Some of them get more water, some of them get less water. So the irrigation system is different for every. It's computer control and everything.
Wow.
So this square, you need, let's say, 5 liters of water. This might need 1. That's all done by technologies.
That's
They have sensors everywhere. Different soil. You measure the soil. What you need to do after the tobacco has been finished. Treating the soil differently. Everything.
So he's very advanced.
Yes. In that way, we didn't see every field of those factories, but that was very into the technologies. I mean, the seeds he using to plant, he do presentations on the seeds. So basically, he made a machine which can sort the seeds to good one and not good one. The seeds are with the size of poppy seed.
Yeah, the tiny.
On hand is impossible. And the machine he implement basically with the simple stuff, you choose only the healthy seeds and use them, and you say you have 99% success. Other factories are like 65-70% success. He's 99% success.
Wow. A lot of technology, a lot of innovation has gone into it. Because when you think of a farm, you know, the layman, for example, when a layman person thinks of a farm or a tobacco farm or a factory or something, you think, you know, some old school kind of system, you know, just, you know, plowing the fields.
He have a plow and use 2 big animals to plow in the field, only on the corners where the tractors can't go there.
Yeah.
He built together with John Deere, is a tractor company. John Deere made a special tractor which heavy only 300 kilograms. It's all aluminum chassis.
Wow.
And Mercedes made the engine for that tractor just to can fit there and everything. So the tractors he have, no one having them.
Yeah.
They're specially made for him. 300 kilograms. Imagine that's a nothing for tractor.
No, it is. That's very
Because
light.
it's all aluminum. The engine, everything is aluminum.
The whole thing.
Well, Mercedes do special engines where you can fit and they're not heavy. The whole tractor is 300 kilograms.
Wow.
Which
nothing.
is, because if it's heavier, you can damage when you're walking through over the tobaccos and
Yeah,
do all the
yeah,
stuff at the beginning, because you don't use the tractor when the tobacco is big, but you use the tractor to prepare the field,
Yeah, of
to
course.
do all the stuff, to seeds and everything. Until the plants are that big, you use the tractor. And to remove the weed, the everything, it's all tractor.
Yeah.
And it's...
Completely aluminium. That's nuts. Another factory you visited was the Oliva factory. Now, one of the points that you made about the Oliva factory was that it was the cleanest factory you went to. It was like
Yes.
a hospital in terms of how clean it was.
Yes, Oliva, we visit first Oliva, as a company, they have few small companies part of this company, if I can explain it that way. The one we visit is called El Fumador. El Fumador is everything which happened after the curing barns and before the rolling factories.
Right.
Basically fermentation. And they have the whole new facility built 5 months ago.
So wait, the fermenting is done by a separate company, which is part of Oliva.
Yes.
Okay.
But they separate them just because that's the way they manage them.
Yeah.
So El Fumador is part of Oliva, but it's different logo, different building, but 15 minutes
it's just
away.
branded differently.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we go to the fermentation process. Huge barns again. They show us every single step from the tobacco coming with the lorries and trucks to getting ready to go to the factory to be rolled. And we seen literally every 2-3 minutes someone swapping the floor. And imagine those are dusty factory, the
You mean like
fermentation.
sweeping the floor?
Yes,
Yeah.
cleaning the floor every 2-3
Wow.
minutes. Someone around us. You drop an ash, you go around and turn around, the ash is not there. It's ridiculous. I mean, this is a typical European thing again, because Oliva is owned by a Belgian company,
Yeah.
and everything is like Swiss made stuff. Working perfect. They have their stuff. Everything is so perfection there. They use a lot of devices as well, a lot of technologies they implement, but the cleanness and the state, because before that we've been in a few other factories. Some of them are quite dirty because obviously we work with the tobacco leftovers piece. It's a broken leaves, it's a dry leaves, wet stuff, water. Oliva was other level. I mean, we all looking, I was like, look at probably 20 people just cleaning the floor. So imagine you're paying 20 people.
Wow.
Just to clean. Instead of end of the day, send 2 people clean it, you have constantly those 20 people just collecting
So even
rubbish.
the workstation tables are like pristine and cleaned up and everything.
Well, as far as you can come, because when you're rolling, you quicker, you need to
Obviously,
do your stuff, but around them was clean.
Wow.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
That's crazy.
It's crazy, yeah. So after that we visit the factory floor, big factory with a big history. Obviously, in the middle of the factory is a good thing. The middle of the factory, on the front, on the shop, on the rolling floor, you have a desk and chair and a book, and behind that is a picture of Gilberto Oliva. He used to sit on that desk before he passed away. Now the whole thing is in the same way he using it.
They just left it the way
They
it
left
was.
it there. They put his picture on top, and always there's flowers, fresh flowers there, and everyone is in front of that one.
Oh, that's
That's
sweet.
what it was so cool. I mean,
That's paying homage to history.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. I mean, even if it's been owned by Fred, Fred Vandelmeer, the J. Cortes company, they respect that one because when Fred bought the company, Gilbert was still alive, and they leave that one there. Just the workers to have the idea that someone actually
Some connection. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's sweet. Who did you meet in the Oliva factory?
So Oliva, we met in the fermentation process, in the fermentation factory. I met a Turkish guy who is actually Habanos master, made his masters in Habana, not in many of the distributors. He's a proper Habanos master, who joined their team 7-8 months ago. He used to also be one of the biggest sellers of a Cameroonian tobacco. For the other company, he used to manage few La Casa de Tobacco shops, Habano.
When you say Cameroon tobacco, as in like actual...
No, Merafel. You say Merafel is not the only one producing Cameroonian tobacco. He selling all the other tobaccos from Cameroon. He lived in Cameroon for a good few years. He's very knowledgeable guy, which I know briefly from social medias and contacts, but now I met him in person. He's a super cool guy. We met the guy who actually is head of that factory, who's like more of as a consultant. I forgot his name. I've got it somewhere in my contacts. He's a cool guy. And then in Oliva, we've been hosted by MJ, Maria Jose. She's like, basically she controls everything in Nicaragua. She's the person because, okay, Fred.
She's the person in charge, basically.
Yes,
that,
yes.
Yeah, yeah.
She people dealing with her with anything related to Nicaragua. She's like managing director of Nicaraguan part of the Oliva.
Yeah.
And
Which
she's
is a
super
big
cool.
part of Oliva.
Yeah, she's super cool. They throw a good dinner as well. In Oliva's house, we've been visiting Oliva's house, which is a super nice place where they welcome their guests, everything. She's very knowledgeable. I mean, we talk a lot with her, and any questions we haven't, she was like able to answer. Not like, oh, I don't know or whatever.
Like she knows what she obviously needs to know what she's talking about
Yes.
because she's the head of the actual factory there, so she needs to know exactly what she's talking about. Any notable things that happened when you were in Oliva factory? What was the most interesting thing that you thought?
Well, I rolled my first cigar there.
That's what I want to talk about.
Yeah.
You actually rolled a cigar.
First, they show us how to bunch. So they actually have a small section, about 20 seats for us. So everyone can sit down. You have leaves, you can bunch. They show us how to bunch. They give us all the tools. We bunch our cigars. They come around, tell us what wrong with the cigars, how we need to correct the bunching, what mistakes can happen.
Yep.
And then they take the bunch to bunch them because they need to age. They need to stay in a press for like a good few hours or something.
Yep.
And they give us already bunched cigars, so we can actually put the wrapper on it and we can roll them to look nice. And they give us option for a lot of cigars if you want to do it. I did it for 2. I don't want to do more than that. I managed to roll 2 cigars, Robusto size. I think they look okay for the first rolled cigars. They look
pretty
decent.
good. They look pretty good.
I don't know what was the blend. By the look, probably Oliva Connecticut, Oliva O, some of those lighter, some because it was very light and thin wrapper.
Yeah.
I haven't smoked mine. I don't know if I want to smoke them because they're basically my first cigars which I rolled. I don't think there will be some super interesting blend. It's just something they give us, maybe leaves which they can't use.
Yeah.
They just give us as an entertainment purpose. But it was a nice experience. I mean, bunching and rolling. Bunching is way more harder for me than rolling. The problems can come from the bunching, not from rolling. You can't put a wrapper. To put the wrapper on the cigar, you can't do nothing wrong. You can make some crack, maybe some hole. That's it. Everything else is from the bunch. Plucked cigars, draw problems. Everything is from the bunch.
The bunching technique that they use in Nicaragua is the tube technique, isn't it? Do you want to quickly explain that?
Yes, we use the tube technique, entubado, what they call them. Basically, you roll small tubes of the leaves and you put them together. Ligero in the middle, obviously both sides visu, and the secu cover them all. And you have a binder on top on that when you do the bunch, and you have the wrapper. So 6 leaves in a Robusto size or ring gauge 50 to 52. You don't need more than that. You need 1 of each leaf. I don't know if they didn't show us, or we seen what you need for Panatella, maybe for Corona, what you're reducing, and also for the 60 ring gauge, what you add in extra. I mean, there was no time for that. I mean, there was a quite tight schedule all the time.
Yeah.
But for the cigars we produce, that's what you need. 6 leaves, whole leaves. All of them are part of the wrapper, obviously. The wrapper is a half leaf, but everything else was a half leaf because the ligero is not a big leaf. And I mean, if you need the longer cigars, you can use longer leaves because they class them on 3 different sizes: long, medium, and short.
Yeah.
That's for the length. But for the ring gauge, probably you need to add more leaves or reduce some of those leaves.
What was the thing that they said there's always one? You did something, didn't you?
So they show us how to roll proper parejo, flat cap.
Yeah.
But I decided to do a pigtail on one of my cigars. And I think I did it very well.
It looked good.
And they was like, MJ look at the cigars. And I was like, looking Ricardo, and I'm like, it's always one of those guys on those tours.
But the pigtail looked good.
Yes.
I looked at it and thought...
It was easier to make the pigtail than the parejo.
Is it?
Yes. It's way easier to make the
Is
pigtail.
it?
Well, you just twist the top.
Oh yeah, I guess you do, don't
Because
you?
if you don't do that, you need to cut it. You need to tie it very well. And then you need to get a cap,
And
put
then
the
stick
cap
that
together,
on.
stick it.
So do you put multiple caps on?
No, one cap.
One
only.
cap.
Yeah.
But the pigtail's a lot easier.
Yeah, because
It looks
just,
nicer though.
Just twist it.
It looks nicer though, doesn't it? But it looked good. That was a nice looking pigtail. I was surprised. I was like, wait, you rolled that? I don't know why, but in my head, I always thought that pigtails were just a little bit tougher because you normally see pigtails on like more premium cigars, right? Like in, maybe that's in Cuba. Like in Cuba.
There's a different types of pigtail.
Yeah.
So I've seen pigtail which are like the L40, for example. Just a small piece of the pigtail, which is the whole cup there. It's not made from the wrapper. I mean, you make another cup for the pigtail. Mine was just continuously from the wrapper, so I just
just
twisted.
leftover, you twisted
Yes.
that. Yeah.
It was easy. But if you do stuff like a fantail, for example, the dirty rat is a fantail, so it's a squashed pigtail. That's a different. I mean, it's a different ideas of those stuff. They're more complicated, but my case was just experiment because I rolled one parejo. I say I'm gonna roll pigtail now.
You had to put in the pigtail. You had to. It had to be done. It had to be done. But it looks better. I think cigars with pigtails look better.
I like them. You don't need to cut them. Twist the pigtail and you
Twist
can
it off.
smoke it.
Exactly. I do like a pigtail on a cigar. It's one of those little things that as soon as I see it on a cigar, I just find it a little bit more attractive. It's just like a little nice touch. You also went to another factory.
Another 3.
Another 3.
No, 2. We're talking for Joya, Oliva, and Perdomo. There's another 2 factories I visit.
Tell us about the other 2.
Which one do you want to talk about?
Let's go both.
Okay, which one do you want to start then?
Well, you went to the AJ Fernandez factory.
Yes. AJ Fernandez, we've been to the fields first. We visit the new field Dorado, which is a very interesting project, and hands down to AJ to manage to do this one. Because Dorado, the idea of the Dorado, so Dorado is a new farm he have, which also producing the Dorado cigars. He have the idea a few years ago. Basically, all the farms in all the fields and farms in Esteli, they're in the valley.
Yeah.
Because it's flat,
Yeah.
it's protected from the hills and everything. But AJ have that around his fields. There's one hill, which he tried the soil, and as a component, because it's a volcanic soil, he says one of the best soils he see as a quality. But it's like that. And then is a river. You can't grow anything there.
No.
So what he did, he dig ground from left fields next to him, and he did 1 meter flat.
On the actual hill.
Yeah.
Oh, so he flattened a section.
Flattened the section where you can grow tobacco actually, and because the tobacco roots are that big.
Yeah.
Actually, when he tried the current field there was that much only.
Oh.
And everyone telling me it's impossible. You can't grow tobacco here. So he bring like millions of cubic meters of ground to that place, level
just
it,
to kind of get...
because he want to have the farm there.
Because there's a river next to it, and that river's kind of
Yes.
feeding into it. You've got the soil, which is getting... It's volcanic soil as well, isn't it? Because
the quality, he say, it's one of the best. And this farm, they literally finished it recently. And the idea is this farm should be able to produce the next 10 years crop only for those cigars, the Dorado, the new line.
Yeah.
It's called New World Dorado.
yeah.
The leaves and everything.
Is
will
it
use
El Dorado
only-
or is it just called Dorado?
Just Dorado.
Just Dorado.
Just Dorado. And the idea is the farm to produce leaves for the next 10 years only for this cigar.
Just in that one plot of land.
Yes. It's a big plot of land, I'll tell
Okay.
you that. It's not.
So that was a lot of a lot of excavating, a lot of moving earth and soil around. Wow, that's you gotta light your cigar again, man.
Yeah, I'm talking a lot.
Good. This is
It's
this is your
fascinating.
video.
AJ is a farmer. He's like the guy, the youngest in all those people. He start to 2005, I think. Immigrated from Cuba.
Yeah.
He started from zero, again, with a lot of ideas.
He has innovated a lot as well. He's had a lot of innovations.
AJ employ 4,500 people.
Wow.
Every morning, he sent 50 buses to collect people from the different areas because there's not enough people in Esteli to work there. He sent 50 buses, school buses, to collect the people from different counties around it. Some of them are 2 hours away.
Wow.
Just to bring them to the factory to work in different roles.
That's nice of him.
4,500 people.
That's a lot. Bus drivers making money there.
Well, they employed by AJ as well. So factory was completely different than, obviously this was my second factory after Hoya, and it was different level. You see the capacity, you see the big manufacturer. The floor, the rolling floor is like 5 times bigger than Hoya. Fermentation was different process. We did the first tour in the fields was with AJ. We actually see the plants from that much up to that much. Flowers, how they picking up, how
wait, so you were seeing like the plants like different heights and everything as well. You were seeing all the different ages of the plants.
Yeah, we see plants which are in the small pots where they just grown that much, that big.
Yeah.
And the biggest one we've seen was that high. Where he said probably in the next few weeks they'll start removing the crops already, leaves. Then we visit the barns, the curing barns, the different techniques they use we visit the curing barns in Perdomo as well, but first one was with AJ. And yeah, it's a huge field. I already post, if people follow me on social media, I already post the AJ videos, and you see even the wrapper where they grow, because the wrapper is shade grown. The muslin clothes, the fields with the muslin clothes are ridiculously big. And yeah, we managed to see AJ literally for 5 minutes. He was so busy with other stuff.
Of course.
But Mario we call him Super Mario, he's probably one of his best people there. He do a brilliant tour in the factory. We ask him all kind of weird questions, and the guy have a lot of sense of humor. It was so fun with him. It was good. They invite us for lunch in AJ's guest house.
Yeah.
Which have 12 bedrooms, a swimming pool with the AJ brand on the bottom.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
And the table, everything was like, we was like, if that's a guest house, we can only imagine what's AJ's personal house.
Yeah.
It was, I mean, because we were a big group, we've been 18 people. If we was 16, we're going to stay in his guest house. But because the capacity is 16 people, and we were too much for that.
Oh, that's a shame. That's a shame. So you would have stayed in his guest house if you had like a fewer people in the group. What was the last factory? Well, not the last, but what the last factory you want to talk
Last
about?
one we visited actually was Padron.
This is the one.
Which Padron is smallest from all of those guys.
It's a small
Factory
company.
is probably, I don't know, 1/10 of AJ. We visit the factory, quick tour in the factory, and quick tour in these fields. And this is the most traditional one factory. Not much of a technology is there. They don't have a draw test machine. Everything is so small. They don't have any space. Even they want to build now a new place where the rollers can expand because they literally no space for anything. It was so tight and compact in there. And we have the tour by, the tour guide was Jorge Padron himself, which I've never seen anyone doing tours with him. So it was so nice
you had
to have
Jorge Padron himself
walking around and answer your questions, ask him anything you want.
Did he answer all the questions, or was he being a bit, vague?
No, he answered anything. Even when we asked about the collaboration with Fuente, he talked about that one. He didn't say, no, I'm not going to tell you, or laughing on it. No. He answered every question we have with 100% seriously. I mean, this was the last factory we visited. A lot of the stuff we already seen, because there's similar idea of how you roll in cigars.
Yeah.
So there wasn't that many new questions because we asked a lot of questions on the other places. And maybe some differences. Yeah, we asked those differences, but he was more than happy to answer, share the knowledge. You keep asking any other questions. If you guys want to know anything, let me know.
What's he like as a person, though?
He's a very humble guy. And this is one of the biggest superstars in the tobacco industry. I mean,
it's Padron.
It's
one of my favorite cigars.
He know who is it. He's very proud of what he's done. And again, it's very family-oriented company. He say currently in his whole company, There's more than 30 people with the surname Padron working there.
Wow.
I mean, part of the family, because I think he say he have like 8 siblings or something.
Yeah.
All of them have kids, grandkids, and all those people work in the company in different roles. Some of them in Miami, some of them in Nicaragua, and it's very Cuban-esque style factory. I mean, that's the closest to Cuba probably we can get.
Really?
No, in Cuba, yeah.
Wow. The rolling and everything, very traditional, very Cuban-based.
They all use same technologies in some way,
Yeah.
techniques. But with Padron, you can feel that ancestry. Again, he don't use draw tool. For example, Nick
You don't use draw tool at all?
No, he don't have any machine draw tool in the factory. We don't have. We ask him, he say, I don't have any. For example, Nick Perdomo draw test every single cigar.
100%.
Yeah, and I can prove you on this one if you want. If you take out the wrapper, I can show you where.
What, you mean like 100%?
Yes.
Every single cigar?
Yes. There's a mark on every binder.
On the binder?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not taking the wrapper off because
You-
I like the cigar.
Because they draw test the cigar with when it's bunched.
Yeah.
And when they draw test them, literally there's a guy getting 10 cigars, draw test them, put them in a tray, and you just get the marker and do a line on all of them. And you can see the line on the marker. And you say, if you think the cigar is plucked, take off the wrapper, and you see if it's been draw test.
So every single one?
100%.
Wow.
The only one of those producers draw test every single cigar. For example, Padron didn't draw test any.
But his cigars generally don't have problems.
It's the way they made them. I mean, based on a weight, like in Cuba. Cuba, everything is based on weight. Same in Padron.
But in Cuba, you know, I'll buy a box of cigars and the weight will vary. The weight will vary. Like occasionally I'll get a cigar which is heavily packed. Robusto, 18 grams. And then I'll get another one which is like 13 grams. I'm like, where's the extra? Where are those leaves? What happened?
I think in Cuba, they measure the tobacco before rolling.
Oh.
In Padron, they actually weigh the cigars.
They actually weigh the rolls.
Well, the rollers know the cigars by the weight because they roll cigars for 20 years and every roller rolling only say his size. They don't move them, oh, today you're going to roll Toro, tomorrow you're going to do Lancero, other day you're going to do Robusto. If you start rolling Robustos, all your life you're going to roll Robustos.
Really?
Yes.
Wait, so people move people around though?
Some of them, yeah.
Yeah.
No in Padron.
Not in Padron.
You start rolling Lancero, Robusto, you're going to roll in Robustos.
That's it.
And if you're rolling for like 2-3 years, I'm pretty sure every cigar you touch and you know how heavy it is. You literally,
You know exactly what
you know
it's gonna
exactly
be. Yeah.
what you're doing in the cigar. It's not gonna be like, oh, today we're gonna roll. You know, you're gonna roll Lancero, you're gonna do torpedoes, you're gonna do whatever figurados. No. You roll your own style every single day. If they introduce a new size, new Vitola, they specially train people which are capable of transition to the size. Usually they keep the same ring gauge people into the same ring gauge. Length might be vary if they move them. If they're gonna do completely new size, let's say they do, I don't know, double Corona, they're gonna train team. They're gonna start slowly. Not gonna do heavy, whatever, 400 cigars a day or whatever. They're gonna do way more than that. Maybe they quality check them more, just to make sure the people know what to do it, and they will train the people.
Yeah.
But it's not gonna be like, today you roll in Lancero, tomorrow you're doing that, because all of them can roll all the sizes.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but they'll be
They're specialized.
They're specialized.
Each one is
Exactly.
specialized.
Exactly.
If
They're
you roll a
specialized
Toro,
and-
you roll a Toro.
yes, and that's how they reduce the percentage of mistakes to minimum.
Their cigars are really well made. I'll give them that. I mean, occasionally, I'm going to bitch and moan about, a loose draw, but most of the Padrones I've smoked, and I've smoked a fair bunch of them, they have been excellent.
Padron is like the Cuban cigars, don't burn slowly.
Depends.
Most of the Padron, I very rarely smoke a Padron which, let's say, 2 hour smoke. You can see this cigar you can smoke this cigar for 1.5 hours easy. That's a Robusto.
Easy.
Cuban Robusto, very rarely you go for
No,
an
Cuban
hour.
Robusto don't last that long.
Exactly. Padron Robusto, same thing.
Oh, I see what you mean.
They don't go that long.
I see what you mean. Yeah,
You're gonna smoke them a little bit over the Cuban sizes. I mean, 2000 is a Robusto, Padron 2000. This is a close to 1 hour smoke.
45.
Yes.
Yeah.
but that's similar size as this one. Okay, ring gauge is slightly bigger on this one, but it's as similar as this one.
Yeah, this one's been smoking slowly. And it gets slower as you get past the halfway stage.
Plasencia Robustus, they do a lot of Robustus.
They smoke slow.
This is, you can go 2 hours with a
That
push.
smokes slow as fuck. Padron cigars do smoke. Yeah, I'll give you that. They do smoke a little faster. They do. Except, I don't. Some of their heavier cigars, like the family series, you know, the family reserves, the Maduros, they smoke a little bit slower.
Well, maybe because the Maduro wrapper burn a little bit slower.
Yeah.
But it's, again, compare any size. I'm pretty sure if you compare Torpedo, Pyramid from Padron, same size with Alma
Yeah,
Fuerte,
it does. If you get the
it will give you half an hour difference.
If you get a Torpedo, like Monte Cristo number 2 will smoke a lot longer than the 1926. From,
and they're same size, I think.
Same size.
50,
same
well, box press, one of them is box
but it's
press,
the
the
same
other one
size.
yeah.
Yeah, same amount of tobacco, really.
And if you take number 2 from some of the other guys, let's say Plasencia do pyramids, slightly longer pyramids. Who do that kind of size? Oliva
does, yeah.
Oliva Torpedo.
That's a slow burn. That's a slow burn. That is, okay, yeah. I see what you mean. Interesting. One last thing I want to talk about before we end this. You saw something interesting in Perdomo's factory. The red tobacco.
Yes.
What the hell is red tobacco?
I didn't have much information. I'll ask Nick eventually.
Just wait. Just to clarify. When we say red tobacco, this was like
it was red.
Red.
I'm trying to find red around me where, I mean, my tie is red. I don't know if you can see it.
How red is it compared to this like La Fin Lam?
this is the red.
It was that color.
Yes.
So this is the La Fin Lam ashtray.
Yes.
It was that red.
So we saw a few bunch rolled half wheels. So half wheel is a cabinet of 50 basically in a factories. And we saw about 3 or 4 of them stacked in the warehouse where the cigars are ready for packaging and everything. And they were red. And we was thinking, what's wrong with those cigars? I've never seen tobacco with that color. And Nick briefly mentioned this is Indonesian Sumatra, I think from Indonesia, not grown anywhere else. It's from Indonesia for a private label for some company. He promised to give us more details. He forgot after that, and we forgot to ask. So I'm sure if I ask him, he'll give me some more information what it was about.
This wasn't like infused tobacco or
No,
anything like
no,
that.
it was natural color. Nothing
Naturally
infused,
red.
Nothing, natural red. Not infused. I mean, like the Candeo is naturally green.
Yeah.
Same
but that
with
makes
this one.
sense.
This one's some reddish, but I mean, it's not a brown. This one is darker. I mean, the ashtray was the color actually. The cigars was.
That's crazy. Have you had any Indonesian tobacco? Have you smoked any Indonesian tobacco at all?
Yeah, but it's not that color.
What's it like?
Indonesian tobacco, Sumatra usually is. So there's a few types again in Indonesia. This is a side thing. Sumatra is very neutral tobacco. A lot of people use it for a binder because the binder, the idea is to keep everything together.
Yeah, so you don't want it to affect too much of the actual blend.
And if your blend is very specific, you don't want to affect it, or you want to reduce maybe of the strength a little bit, add in another leaf. That's your binder is Indonesian Sumatra. Some people grow it in different countries. It's still Sumatra seed.
Yeah.
The Cameroon, by the way, is the same seed. Cameroon grown Sumatra. That's basically Cameroon. But because of the characteristics in Cameroon, change a little bit and make it smaller leaves and everything. That's why they call it separately as a Cameroon, but it's a Sumatra seed. And Sumatra also, Indonesia also have a perik. Perik is used in the pipes a lot. Perik is very interesting tobacco. At the moment, closest to Perik you can buy, I don't think anyone imports any cigars in UK like that, but Regius Limitada Peru is the closest you can get to Perik. Is that unique taste in the Perik, which is like licorice, very pipe style tobacco.
Yeah.
That is another Indonesian tobacco which is grown there. Not a lot of people use it because again you can't use it on a cigar. It's not easy.
It's overpowering, isn't it?
Yes, very woody, licorice, that kind of stuff.
So this red tobacco, we don't know what it is just yet, but we're going to try and find out.
He say it's a private label, or it might be made exclusive for some shop somewhere.
Possibly, yeah.
We might not find at all. I'm pretty sure if it's not a very very close community, if it's some shop actually, the biggest media will pick it up on that one and they'll post about it, and we'll see. Again, this was a ready cigar already. Give it a go, 7-8 months a year. Maybe someone will post the pictures on that one and we'll explain more about it. Yeah, I'm gonna chase Nick about to tell me about this one, so we'll see what we're gonna say.
I'm looking forward to seeing that. Yeah, it's been great talking to you about this, man. I was really looking forward to
I
doing
mean,
this
it was a one-off opportunity. I'm very thankful for my company who managed to send me there. You know, if I wasn't in a trade, if I wasn't working for the company I'm working at the moment, Cigars, I don't think I'll be able to go on that trip.
Yeah.
Because this was made only for people in the industry, people, retailers, distributors, shop owners, where they can basically see the stuff and manage to sell more cigars like that. And I'm super thankful to the company, you know, my company, which sent me there and basically sponsored everything there, because
everything was paid for.
It was
Everything
all
was covered,
company
yeah.
sponsored trip. I didn't pay anything on that trip, and visiting all those big names. On the other side, the much appreciation is to Thor.
Yeah.
And Ricardo and Scott do a great job to organize and everything. Literally, we didn't have a 5 minutes free.
They organized everything.
From 6 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock in the evening. We've been busy. Different stuff, different type of entertainments, factories, dinners, lunches, meeting people, having a chat with all those people, seeing that much in only 5 days. Some of those factories, Nick was very unhappy that we have only 1 day with him. He said, my tour's a minimum 2 days. So he tried to show us stuff which usually take 2 days in 1 day. And we're rushing a little bit.
So that's why you were so tired rushing around doing
Yes, we're rushing a little bit. We literally walk a lot. But it's if you can have an opportunity to go in any of those factories or different factories, just don't hesitate it. Go there. You can see and learn a lot of stuff. Even I consider myself as a quite knowledgeable person in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I learned so much new stuff there. Just being there, you don't know something and you can actually ask someone.
There's someone
Because
literally
now you see
doing
someone doing videos like our, showing, rolling, binding, whatever, blending, whatever. If you want to ask, you find the answer maybe in a week, 2, 3, 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Which you already go past that one and you forgot about it and you don't care about it anymore. But in those tours, you can go there, even if you want to have a list with questions. I'm pretty sure all of those guys will happily answer any of your questions.
It seems quite welcoming. But yeah, this was great. I really appreciate you talking about this. I mean, this is a trip of a lifetime for you, I believe. And about time, you managed to go to these factories, because you've been wanting to go to these places for forever now, haven't you?
Yeah.
So thank you for this discussion.
No,
I appreciate it.
thanks for the decision to make this episode. Hope people will find it interesting.
I'm sure they will. This is great information.
If you have any questions you think I can answer, shoot me a message, guys. You know where to find us.
I'll leave a link to your Instagram.
Meantime, we will carry on doing our Sunday stuff, casual chatting. Maybe not disclose too much on what we're doing on the videos, because last week we literally disclosed everything what we're going to talk today.
We didn't. There was so much that you talked about today that we did not talk about in the live stream. Because in the live stream we briefly covered some of the stuff. But I think the good thing in the live stream is we can have a more informal discussion. We can talk about things which may not make it in this video. But yeah, guys, as usual, thank you so much for joining us with and watching our video. If you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe, share this video, all of that good stuff. Comments, suggestions, leave them below. And Ray, finish off with what you would like to say.
Smoke your cigars, guys. I would say I hope I can only dream to live to 94 like Aristis and smoke 15 cigars a day, but who knows? We might live that long, we might not. Just smoke your cigars.
Exactly. Thank you, and see you in the next one.